Welcome back to the Off-Farm Income Podcast, everybody. Thank you for joining us here on our YouTube channel. And hey, it is New Year's Eve. I hope you all have a great and very, very safe time tonight as we ring in 2020. Oh my goodness. 20 years into the 2000s already. Can't hardly believe that. Well, hey, today we're doing an FFA episode because tomorrow is New Year's Day. So I'll do a solo episode tomorrow. I'm going to be having on Jillian Salmon coming to us from Big Walnut High School again. This time she's going to be talking to us mostly about winning the Food Science and Technology Career Development event at the National Convention this year. And I don't know, we're going to find out some of the secrets of the success of the Big Walnut chapter who just keeps winning this competition. We'll start that for you right now. Joining me today is Jillian Salmon, and she is a senior at Big Walnut High School, and she is going to be talking to us today about a couple different things. One, her SAE, and also a back-to-back win for her high school at the National Convention in a Food Science and Technology CDE. Jillian, welcome to the show. Thank you very much for coming on.
You're very welcome.
Hey, I'm happy to speak with you. I've been corresponding with your FFA advisor for a while to talk about this unprecedented back-to-back wins at the National Convention. So we'll jump into that in a moment, okay? I'd like to start off by just learning a little bit about you, if that'd be okay.
All right.
All right. Well, how old are you?
I'm 18 years old.
18, so that makes you a senior.
Mm-hmm.
And when you are not at school, when you're at home, are you on a farm or are you in town or something kind of in between?
I do not live on a farm, but I do live in a rural area. I have always had chickens and shown them for 4-H. So I do live in a bit of a rural area, but I would not consider myself to live on a farm.
Okay. All right. Now, how long have you been showing chickens?
I've been showing chickens ever since the first year I was able to be in 4-H without being a clover bud. So I believe that would have been third grade.
Third grade. Okay, very good. And is there any particular breed of chicken that has brought you success in the show ring?
I actually have my own line of silky chickens, which I have. I've won best in show with before.
Okay.
So that's kind of my specialization.
Okay. Very cool. Well, good for you. Now, how long have you been part of the FFA?
This is actually only my second year in FFA.
Okay. So you joined the FFA your junior year then?
Correct.
Okay. So that's interesting. What brought you in at that, halfway through high school? What brought you into the organization?
It was a bit of an accident, if I'm being honest with you. I am very interested in animal sciences, and I needed an extra elective, and I saw that my school offered veterinary science.
Okay.
So it sounded interesting to me, and I signed up, and I wasn't aware that it was an ag class. So I kind of got involved with that, and I really couldn't tell you what drew me in, but on a whim, I signed up for Food Science and Technology, and a year later, I have been on the national winning team.
Wow.
So,
very cool. Well, it sounds to me like it was a fortuitous turn of events for you to take that class and to sign up.
Oh, absolutely. I'm so grateful for it.
That is great. Very cool. Well, let's do this really quick. I'd love to acknowledge your FFA advisor. Who is that for you?
My FFA advisor is Mr. Jeff Stimmel.
Awesome. Thank you for doing that. Well, Jillian, just for a moment, I'm going to acknowledge a couple of my sponsors and everybody. I'm going to be talking about lacrosse boots, and always love to talk about lacrossefootwear.com when I do one of my FFA interviews because, well, they have been supporting the FFA by annually sponsoring 15 scholarships along with 100 jackets as part of the Give the Gift of Blue program now for a while, and it just makes me so proud to have a sponsor that is doing that and supporting FFA students in that way, and to have a sponsor whose products I use right here on my own farm, whether it's summer or winter. I've always got a pair of lacrosse boots on. Very comfortable, very rugged, very warm, and very, very dry. Make sure you're checking them out and putting a pair on your feet. You can find them at lacrosse Footwear.com. And everybody, also Powder River Livestock Handling Equipment. They've been a great sponsor of this show for a long, long time now. They build absolutely fantastic livestock handling equipment, squeeze chutes, sweep tubs, runways, and they've been doing it for well over 80 years with some of the craziest cattle we have in the U.S. If they can handle those cows, they can definitely handle yours. We've got a Powder River squeeze chute sitting right out on our place right now, and that's what we use for our cattle along with their panel. So check them out at powderriver.com. All right, Jillian, thank you for letting me do my ads right in the middle of your interview. Well, let's do this. I want to learn more about the Food Science and Technology CDE. And so let's start off like this. What does a CDE stand for?
A CDE is a career development event.
Okay. So your team at Big Walnut, you went all the way to the national convention and won at the national convention competing in this career development event. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So tell me how this all starts. When do you first begin, I guess, practicing and learning about this CDE?
Well, like I said, I kind of joined FFA in a fortunate turn of events at the beginning of my junior year.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe that the sign-up sheet went up for food science in about September maybe of junior year. So So in September, we all got together and we started learning about the CDE. And then I think there were like 15 of us that signed up. And obviously 15 of us don't compete, so we had the online test first. And then later we had the sub-district contest, at which it was determined what the 4 members who would be on the team were.
Okay. So you actually have a competition within the competition to determine who makes the team.
Yes, you could say that.
Interesting. Okay, so what is the sub-test?
What is the what?
Did you say sub-test? Did you take a sub-test?
Written test.
Oh, a written test. Okay, so what do they test you on the written test?
It's really they're testing your knowledge on really the science behind food, as well as there's some industry questions as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's really it's a lot of fact-based knowledge that they want to test you on.
Okay. And so give me an example of one of the questions they might ask you.
They might give you a scenario, say like there is a canned product and the pH is above 4.6,
mm-hmm.
and it was not cooked in a retort canner. Like what foodborne pathogen would be at risk to grow in this product? And the answer would be Clostridium botulinum. So it's really a lot of science-based things, and they might ask you about some the career-based things as well. But
okay, interesting stuff. So, I mean, that's important because botulism is what you're talking about. That's a deadly toxin, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, really important. So this is Food Science and Technology, and so you saw the sign up and you signed up. What made you interested in this? What was it about you that made you sign up for this one, say, as opposed to some other competition?
Well, actually, it's kind of funny that you should ask. I really had no idea what food science was before I signed up. I had no prior interest in it. I couldn't really tell you what drew me in, but I did, and I started to love it.
Okay. So it was just, that looks interesting, I'm going to do it.
Yep.
Good for you. Well, it seems to have worked out. So you went all the way your junior year to the national convention and won, is that right?
Actually, we won states my junior year, and then we competed at national convention this past October.
Okay. All right. Very good. And you won this past October.
We did.
Well, congratulations. That had to be quite a moment.
It was very intense.
Well, tell me about the competition at the national level. Does it get even more difficult than, say, at the state level?
Yes. Times a factor of 100. There are 5 individual practicums, as well as another written test. This one much harder than the former. And there are 2 team activities, and that is how your team score is determined.
Okay. So give me an example of what you would do during the team activity.
The main team activity that makes up the bulk of our team points is product development. So what that entails is you go into a room and you are given a scenario, and you are given like a category of product that you will be formulating. For instance, ours was ready-to-heat breakfast cereals, which ended up being oatmeal. So all we knew going into the competition was that it was going to be a breakfast food, a heat-and-serve breakfast food. So all we could really do was guess on what we should be preparing for. So we actually guessed wrong, and we prepared for like a breakfast burrito or something with like meat in it. Mm-hmm. But it ended up being that. So we go in, and they give us that scenario, and you get like a target market. You get like parameters that you have to meet. Like it might be nutrition-wise, it might be cost-wise, and so you're given the scenario, and you have 1 hour to formulate a product that best fits the scenario, and you have to come up with all of the processing information, the principal display panel, the secondary display panel, all the nutrition facts, everything like that. You have to come up with it in an hour, and at the end of that hour, you present your product and all of your information to a panel of judges who will then ask you questions.
Wow, that has got to be one of the most intense hours of your life.
It was, especially since we went in with something that was completely unexpected. So we really had to rework everything that we had prepared for.
Wow. And there's 4 members of your team, is that right?
Yes.
So 4 members. So you said you have to come up with nutritional information. You have to come up with the way you're going to process it. So does each team member take one of those aspects and run with it? Like would they assign you, say, nutritional information, and you've got to figure all that out?
Yes, actually, we split the roles pretty between the 4 members. My title was lead product development specialist, so I was in charge of all of the processing and all of the nutrition and things. I wasn't in charge of the nutrition panel, but I was in charge of the nutrition information, and I was in charge of kind of keeping the whole team on track and pulling everything together. So that was me. And we had a nutrition specialist, and we had a marketing specialist, and we had a financial specialist. So
really interesting. Well, so that's quite a competition. You're learning unbelievable things that other students around the country never get exposed to. How has this impacted you and influenced you in terms of where you're gonna go in the future?
Well, it's really taught me a love for the ag industry that I didn't necessarily have before. And it's really opened my eyes to a lot of the career choices that I could take. And it's really taught me that ag is a more diverse field than I had originally thought.
Yeah, absolutely. And so here you are, you're graduating in half a year. What will be next for you?
I plan on going to college, 4-year university, and then after that, I plan on going to law school.
Oh, very cool. Okay. So you've got law in mind. Do you know what kind of law you want to practice yet?
Right now I am thinking criminal justice, but I'm also passionate about environmental law and policies and things like that.
Very cool. Well, that is great, Jillian, and congratulations on your for you and your team and your chapter on your win this year. I know that's very, very exciting. And I haven't even asked you about your supervised agricultural experience. What have you been doing there?
I actually work at a greenhouse locally. So I essentially am in charge of cultivating the plants and taking care of them, as well as, like maintenance of the greenhouse. And I cashier and I assist customers. So that's kind of what my supervised agricultural experience looks like.
Very good. Well, it's exciting to speak with you, exciting to hear about the things you're learning and where it's taking you, and really appreciate you coming on and doing it. I want to ask your advice for other students just really quick. If there's another student out there and they're looking at a competition, they have no idea about it, and it's just going in blind and saying, I'm going to try it out, If they're trying to decide whether or not to do that, what advice would you have for them?
I would encourage them absolutely to go for it. I mean, 2 years ago, if you would have asked me if I would have won a national contest with FFA, I would have laughed at you. FFA has, taught me that I really can do whatever I put my mind to, and it has opened up so many opportunities to me that have been so completely invaluable to my life. So I would say absolutely to go for it. You do not know where it's going to take you. And like me, you might find a passion in a new field that you weren't even aware of.
Very cool. Great answer, Jillian. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing this with us today.
You are very welcome. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for joining us, everybody. Really enjoyed speaking with Jillian Salmon, and I hope you enjoyed it as well. Hey, have a great New Year's Eve. Have a great 2020. And have a great time looking at 2019 in that rear view mirror. Hey, everybody, enjoy your journey to the ultimate lifestyle business, agriculture.